Okay, in this lesson, we're going to look at some conditional statements that we can create to allow our program to only execute a task if it meets a certain condition. So let's go ahead and start by prompting the user. So we'll have an input, and let's ask them, do they want to create a crater where they're standing? And to clarify the input that we want, we'll just say yes or no with a capital Y or a capital N. Okay? So that's going to get stored, that input, as a string in the variable answer. Now, let's make ourselves an if statement, right? If that input that they made, if that answer that they put into our input equals y. Okay? Then notice when I finish my if statement with a colon and I press enter, it tabs. Python automatically tabs over. So this is going to be a block of code. Anything that's tabbed over is going to happen if the user inputs a y. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get the position of the player. So position equals world.player.get position. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and set some blocks. So world.setBlock, and we're going to go from position dot x, right? That's the x coordinate of our position, +1. Okay, then position dot y +1. Position dot z +1. Okay, that'll take us one space to the forward, back, and above where we're currently positioned, our player. Then we're going to go from position.x -1. So we'll do that again for y and z. Position y -1, position z -1. And then what type of block do we want if we're digging out a crater? Because remember, our last argument is going to be the block type. And a crater would be just filled with air. So 0 will be our block type, right? That will fill the blocks around where we're standing with air. Okay, then the next thing we'll do is post to chat. So world.post to chat, and let's say boom for the explosion that's taken place. Okay, so we'll go up here to run, right? Run our module. And we're prompted in the shell, create a crater, yes or no. We'll say Y for yes. And when we look in our world, right, there it says boom, and now there's the crater that got blasted around us. Okay, if we hop out of that crater and we come somewhere else in our world, and now let's run it again, run module, but this time we'll say N for no, and notice no crater gets blown up because we didn't meet that condition where we checked, did the answer equal y? Now if I want something else to happen instead, so say they don't enter y, then I can use the else with a colon, and notice when I hit enter, that takes me down with the tabs straight over. So anything in this else is going to be what happens if we don't meet this original condition. So this time we'll post to the chat, okay, no crater for you. Okay, so now when we run, and we're going to say N, no crater, right? No crater for you appears as our message because we didn't meet the first condition in the if statement. Python went to execute what followed in the else. Okay, now there's nothing currently in our program that prevents or addresses the case where the user doesn't enter y or n. So what we're going to do is change this else to be an else if. So if the answer is y, do these things. Else if, the answer is capital N, then do this thing. Okay, and then we'll have our final else. Okay, and for our final else, let's go ahead and grab these 3 lines and we'll copy and paste them down under our else. So again, we're going to get the player's position. We're going to make a crater, but instead of filling that crater with air, let's fill it with water. Okay, and we'll tell them in the chat to have a nice swim. Okay, so let's go up and run our module. Okay, create a crater. So if it was a Y, it would do the first thing, which we've already seen. If it was an N, it would do the second thing. Let's say they put in a capital R, right? And you can see what happened in our console. We created a pool of water underneath them and told them to have a nice swim. Okay, now if we wanted to be a little kinder, we could create something called a nested if. So if they answer Y or N, like they were told to, right, great, else. And we're going to put a new if in here. And, well, actually, let's get some more input. So we'll say choice equals input, enter W or L. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and get their coordinate, and this time, instead of it definitely being an 8 for water, okay, let's go ahead and do an if. So if their choice is equal to W, then we'll go ahead and do our water in the world. So we'll go ahead and tab that over. Okay, else, okay, and regardless of if they put in anything other than a W, so if they put in an L or anything other than that, we'll go ahead and do lava. So let's paste this down here, and we're going to change our block type this time to be lava, and lava is 10. So now we'll tell them you should have picked W. Okay, so let's go ahead and run. And we'll look at our ifs that are nested together here. So create a crater, and we'll put in an R. Enter W or L. So let's put in an L, and here it says you should have picked W because now our player is inside of a crater of lava.